pupils usually do quite well in international comparisons, but we always secretly believe that we would be gold medalists in creativity league tables. Not for us the sterile force-feeding of Mr. Gradgrind facts, even in these days of hours spent on literacy and numeracy. No, our education system values and promotes the creative mind. Or does it?
There are different forms of creativity, points out IOE Senior Lecturer Dr. Byrne.
Teachers and children often imagine that creativity is about freedom to do whatever you want, whenever you want. And certainly it is about the freedom to make the messages you want to make, but it's also about certain types of constraint, like the rules of certain sorts of creative processes. You have to learn the rules to know how to break them.
Particularly in art, teachers are not always sure how best to harness children's originality.
There are different strands of research into the nature of creativity in education. One strand broadly looks at creativity in arts education, and it has an obvious place there, and it's about making things. The other strand is about a rather different kind of creativity across the rest of the curriculum, and it involves processes such as creative thinking in maths and science, and any form of creative learning broadly defined. But we need to remember that it's also about certain kinds of constraint, such as the rules for making a film or the rules for writing a poem, and it's also about culture. Creativity doesn't come from anywhere, and children come to school with a great many cultural resources that sometimes we overlook.
Meanwhile, another report, this time funded by the Arts Council for England in association with the Tate, argues the merits of teaching more modern art at Key Stage 2 and 3. Well, they would, of course, wouldn't they?
Adding or increasing the amount of modern art on the curriculum worked well for some schools, says report co-author Dick Downing.
Well, we spoke to teachers in 18 schools. 10 of them were randomly chosen, 8 of them were known to already use contemporary art practice as part of their curriculum. And the ones who were using contemporary art practice claimed that it was relevant, accessible, exciting for their students. This wasn't so much the case in the randomly identified schools. There, a lot of the teachers felt that a lot of contemporary art practice was obscure, intellectually, emotionally inaccessible to them.
One benefit teachers found in the participating schools was that it supported communication and expressive skills.
Well, we wondered why some teachers thought contemporary art practice was so relevant and some didn't. Could it be that they're looking at different contemporary art? Or could it be that when they look at contemporary art, they're seeing it differently? We weren't sure about that, so we got teachers to look at half a dozen images of art and ask them, would you use that in your teaching? And the response was very, very different. Some of them would say, absolutely, that would really resonate with the kids. They would really understand that. It would relate to their lives. Others would say of exactly the same image, oh, I couldn't possibly use that. Far too obscure, far too challenging, far too difficult. It would make them giggle.
But do you remember that 1960s chimp who had a wonderful time slapping paint onto canvases? After 9 colourful months and many favourable comparisons with abstract artists, the chimp stopped painting. Apparently through boredom, thought behaviourist Desmond Morris. In the light of the ongoing Institute of Education research, would some formal art training and less artistic freedom have led to greater chimp commitment and greater art? Who knows? Perhaps more research is needed. Goodbye.